What's up, fandom? Thanks again for joining us. I am Jeff Hasley, and I am joined, as always, by my co-host, Cowboy Joe. And we have a special guest with us here. We've got a fan that we want to introduce you to, someone who you might be familiar with on Twitter, at Britt M. Schmidt. Brittany, it's great to have you join us. First of all, how are you?
I'm doing awesome. This honestly made my Monday. There's something very depressing about a Monday after a loss, but knowing I get to be on the show, on a typically sad Monday, and I get to talk sports with my fan friends. That's what I call my fellow Carolina Panther fans, because we're like a big family. So I'm really excited to be here. Thanks for having me, guys.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you for joining.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. And this is kind of what this show's all about. It's about the fans. It's not necessarily so much as about the team and the recaps. And if you're tuning in for one of our regular recap shows, this is a little bit different this week. We will talk about the game, but we also, kind of want to
we want to learn more about the fan themselves. Why are they Carolina fandom?
So
why do they follow us? Why do they like Carolina Panthers? I'm a Cowboy fan, and I'm starting to fall in love with Carolina. So, I'm dressed.
My husband is a Cowboys fan. Actually,
then I love him even more.
Because Emmitt Smith. That's I got him that plaque that's hanging for
That's awesome.
Yeah,
right,
but
so
he's got Carolina sympathies because he's been with me almost 13 years, and you can't be with a Panthers fan and not at least gain sympathies. That's how it is. So he won't admit it, but he's like a closet fan of the Panthers also. Like, it's kind of funny.
I was a closet fan, and I came out. So.
Okay. So there's hope for him to come out. Okay.
Hey, so Brittany, are you more than just a Panthers fan? Are there other Carolina teams that you follow that you're a fan of?
Oh my goodness, yeah. I'm actually a Charlotte Hornets fan. Okay.
All right. Okay.
All right. I can't really say. I mean, I do. My second favorite team is the Hurricanes, but I'm a Jersey girl, so I have to go with the Devils as my.
Oh, I'm a Rangers.
Tom likes the Rangers, though.
Huh?
You would get along great with my husband, Joey.
I think we're like twins.
I know. My goodness.
Yeah.
How about that? He's also from New Jersey.
He's a Cowboys and Rangers fan, and I am a Panthers, Hurricanes, Devils fan. So, yeah, but mostly Panthers, Devils. That's pretty much.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome, though.
Yeah, but definitely football is my first love. Like, that is. It was hard because I was really big into, when the Devils had their run in 2003, and then the lockout happened. And after the lockout happened, the NHL lockout, I kind of.
It's not the same after that. Yeah, it was never the same.
No, it didn't have that same excitement for me that it had growing.
I remember the old Ranger Devils games with Adam Graves, Mark Messier, and Scott Stevens.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Wow, look at you dropping some names.
He had Colin White, and he was awesome.
I hated Brodeur.
Listen. Brodeur is the GOAT, okay? He's the GOAT.
But again, as a Cowboy fan, and as a Ranger fan, I didn't hate the Devil as much as I hated the Philadelphia Flyers or the Philadelphia Eagles. That's a Philly thing. I don't know. It's a Cowboy thing and a Ranger thing. Philly's the number one.
It's so funny because when I talk to a lot of, guys, like when I'm out, back before the pandemic, when I would go out to watch games at bars, a million years ago, back before we were scared. So, and I would just be talking about things, and I used to, guys would be like, wow, you really, know your stuff for, no offense for a chick. And I'm like, well, I grew up surrounded by Eagles fans, so you either had to know your shit to shut them up, or you would drown. It was sink or swim. So you kind of.
Now I know why that Cowboy fan married you.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That? My wife is the youngest of 10 kids, and they're all Eagles fans. And
My
She grew
condolences.
up in New Jersey, and
Okay.
so all of her brothers and sisters, they're all Eagles fans. So I hear about it all the time.
Oh yeah, no, they're awful. My husband went to a game when he was 5 years old. He grew up in a Giants family. Go figure. He saw the movie Little Giants and with Ed O'Neill, and that made him a Cowboys fan. And then he got it. Yeah, that sealed it for him. But they used to go to the Cowboys. When the Cowboys would play the Eagles or the Giants would play the Eagles, they would go to. They went once and. Like my husband and his brothers were kids, and they had batteries thrown at their heads.
Oh yeah, Giant Stadium gets crazy.
Like my father-in-law almost got into a fight with somebody because like it was pretty intense.
Not a good place for children.
Yeah.
No.
Not at all.
Only stadium in the NFL where they had a friggin' jail in there their stadium.
The old vet.
The old vet.
The old vet had the jail. And they had the judge in there and everything. They had it going on. They were probably used to everything.
Oh yeah. I know walking around in my Panthers gear, my girlfriend, one of my best friends since kindergarten, she went to Drexel University. We would go out there because they had some, when we were in our early 20s, they had some nice places to go out. I almost got that they saw me in my Julius Peppers jersey, and some guy was trying to harass me, and I'm like,
oh man.
And then Tom's like, I'm gonna beat this guy up. I'm gonna beat this guy up, and I'm like, you gotta leave. But they're not. They know, they can sniff you out, and they're like, ooh, yeah.
Yeah, if you don't hold your own, they'll get you.
That's right. Or if you show that you're upset, they'll get you even more.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah, but that's the key. The key is to because at that point they hadn't won a Super Bowl yet, and I would be like, yeah, well, how many of these do you got? How many playoffs have you been to?
Right.
Yeah. Bye. Well,
Hey,
bye.
I just say they upgraded from a ring pop to a Super Bowl ring. That's all.
That's it. And it took them 85 years to actually.
Yeah, that's all. Take another 85.
That's what I always tell them when they're like, "Oh, at least we have a ring." I'm like, "Yeah, well, it will take the Carolina Panthers 85 years, hopefully." So at least we'll have that going for us.
Well, speaking of that, with Carolina right now, I don't think that it's going to take them 85 years. The team is young and they're hungry.
No, I love the rule mentality. I love it. And I love what I really love about it is okay, so I grew up in a situation, very football family. My dad coached Pop Warner, and then he coached high school football. So, the important thing, my father, he had to motivate kids and then, adolescents to love the game, to not only play hard, but to love the game. And what I love about Coach Rule and his message is that he gets these grown men to really want to have a winning attitude, to get excited about the game again. And I think when you get to the level like the NFL, it becomes so much about the money, the fame, the prestige that comes with having success in the NFL that so many people leave behind, that love of the game. And I think as Panther fans, that's one of the things we all loved about Cam, because you could tell when he was in Carolina, especially those first few years, he was excited about the game.
Yeah,
he got us excited about the game. And that's a great attitude to have. And I think having a coach that has that type of mentality of get excited about the game, want to win, have that winning mentality, it's a process. It's a process.
I agree. Definitely.
So it's obvious that you're a big Coach Rule fan, and that's great. And you made some great points there. Do you have a favorite player?
I do actually. I have so many favorite players. That's just it. It's when I'm sure being a fan for so long, you have so many players, but obviously right now, current roster, who am I excited about? I love Christian McCaffrey. Okay. I love Robbie Anderson, but see, I love Robbie Anderson in the offseason. Everyone's like, what are we signing this one? I'm like, he is good. I go, I grew up with Jets fans, okay? My dad and my brother are Jets fans. So I have had, the pleasure of watching Robbie Anderson play, when he was with the Jets I don't feel like they utilized him correctly, which is why I think you're seeing Robbie Anderson in a new light with us, because we are utilizing him correctly and you are seeing him shine. Also, being he was a Temple guy, Rule was his coach. You're just seeing that
the click.
Yeah, it just gels.
Instant chemistry.
Yes. I mean, I love Brian Burns, and you know who I really freaking love? Okay, Jeremy Chin.
Yes.
I was so excited when we drafted him.
Chin is the man. So many people love Chin.
We are getting a friggin' ball hawk. Just wait. It's so exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. So do you have season tickets? Do you go to a lot of games?
I'm still unfortunately in New Jersey. So whenever the Panthers do play the Jets and they're at MetLife, I always do try to score myself some tickets, even if it's in the nosebleeds, because I'm poor. But
actually go to the Royal Riot. They have some good discounts when they go away games too.
Yeah, definitely look into that. But yeah, I'm hoping to relocate, within the next few years to Carolina. That would be a dream of mine in general, because it's just great. I mean, I have met so many people in this fan base. I'm used to being I grew up in a small town in Ocean County, New Jersey, and I was one of maybe, I think there were 2 other people that graduated with me that liked the Panthers, and I was thought whoa, I was the one that was that stuck out like a sore thumb everywhere. But it's really cool because once, in the age of Twitter and social media, I got to know so many people that are as passionate about the team as I am. And to me, that was probably the coolest thing. One of the coolest experiences I ever experienced as a fan was in 2010. Okay, when Miami hosted the Pro Bowl, my uncle got tickets to take us to see it, and my cousin is a Broncos fan. Anyway, my uncle,
Broncos have fans?
I have a very broad fandom of family. It's crazy. My dad's side of the family. You got Denver, you got the Vikings, you got the Rams, you got pretty much the Jets. You got everything, and then me. I'm the only Carolina, but it is what it is on that side. But we went. My cousin, who's a Rams fan, Christian. My cousin, who's a Broncos fan, Ashley, and my uncle and we went, and I saw this family, this couple, and they were dressed head to toe in Panther gear, and they got so excited to see me. They're like, "Can we take your picture?" And I was like, "Yeah." They're like, "Where are you from?" I'm like, "New Jersey." And it was the coolest experience. So I'm in somebody's photo album from Pro Bowl 2010. So if you're out there, hi, it's me. Can you send me the picture? That was probably the coolest experience, was being approached and being like,
yes.
Oh my gosh. And then you don't feel alone. It's kind of cool, when you realize, wow, there's people like me who get excited like me.
Yep. And that's a good thing, because you do it the good way. They ask you to take a picture. I photobomb pictures.
I will take a picture of you when all is well and we can all meet up.
I would
love to take a picture with everybody. I'm all about a good picture.
Oh, you better be when you come to Carolina and our tailgate parties.
That's right.
Yeah, I am down. I'm always down for a good time.
So, Brittany, what do you normally do on game day, since you're up in New Jersey? Do you get a bunch of people to watch the game? Do you have the NFL ticket? How do you get your Panthers game? How do you get your Panthers fix?
I do. I have the NFL Sunday ticket. So leading up to that, okay, so what I do is I get up. I usually check my Twitter first thing in the morning. I try to tweet something hype or, respond to someone if I feel like someone's a little overly pessimistic. I'll put them in check, and then I'll eat my nachos. So, that's kind of my game day treats. My thing is okay, you know what? We could probably, I'm optimistic. Let's try to win this game. But if we don't, at least I had nachos.
Yep.
So So that's been my game day tradition. But yeah, it's usually my husband and I and the dog that watch. And it's exciting because being able to see my team on Sunday was not something that I was privileged to growing up. It's actually funny. I became a fan totally, I guess you could say, on accident. Prior to 1995, they played the Jets that year. That was October 15th, I believe it was. Because they talk about it because that was Sam Mills' interception. He intercepted Boomer Esiason and ran the touchdown in. My dad was screaming at the TV. I looked up and saw that play and said, "That's my team." And my dad was like, and it's funny, the things that you remember, I don't remember what I had for dinner last Thursday night, but I remember my Barbie dream house because my dad, God bless him, Jets fan through and through his whole life. He really wanted to pass that on to me and my brother. So I have humor. I might have my little dollhouse set up and I'd watch. But I remember just something about that game. And I was always, even as a kid, one for the underdog. And I remember hearing the winless Panthers, this will be their first win. And I was like, yeah, I want them to win. And my dad was like, you probably just like their colors. And I was like, no, I don't. I like that guy who just scored the touchdown. And sure enough, ironically, Sam Mills is from New Jersey. So, it kind of came full circle. But I used to go on because, we would only be able to see them play when they played the Jets or the Giants or, a local team. Mm-hmm. So I would have to go on AOL dial-up. Remember the?
Oh man.
Okay, I would click on the sports section, and I would, remember where they would give you the play. You'd hit the play-by-play.
And it took 20 minutes to download.
This would be me every 30 seconds. But Mom would be like, "Brittany, I really need to make a phone call." I'd be like, "You really can't make a phone call, Mom. I really got to refresh in another 30 seconds and see if we scored." So that's how I used to watch my games. And then, of course, ESPN would have highlights, and I would be able to catch the end. I would stay up late and then catch the full game highlights. But that's how I used to watch the game. And then when the NFL Sunday Ticket came out, I was like,
you have to get it.
I got it. It wasn't even a question. It was it was as if do you want to take another breath? I was like, yes, order.
See, that's how I felt with the Cowboys, but this year I think I wanted to get back my Sunday ticket.
Tom feels the same way. Tom doesn't even really, because his game was on. Your game was on the same time as
I'm not even watching that.
He's like, I'd rather watch your game. At least your team is in it every week. I was like, he's like, we don't have a quarterback. We don't have him.
Exactly.
I'm sorry.
Well, Cowboys do have a quarterback, right? They just got to wait for him to get healthy. Which Joey, it's coming, right?
It's coming. I hope they sign him though.
Yeah.
I hope they don't do the cousin rule.
So, Brittany, what's your opinion of the team this year and kind of what's gone down? Lots of close games. We'll talk about this here with the game coming up. But what do you think of the team this year? Are you someone? And it very much sounds like you are, a fan through and through, no matter what. You're not like a bandwagon hop on, hop off type of fan.
Oh no, I call those people out all the time.
Right. So
I have no shame because I'm from New Jersey. We just say it, man.
We just say it. We just say what's on our mind, and that's it.
We calls it like we sees it.
That's right.
So honestly, I feel like you can't really take away too much this year, and I'll tell you why. Okay, you got rookie coaches, you got a very young defense. A lot of these guys, it's the first time. They're moving from. It's a different speed. Okay, when you get drafted and you're out of college ball moves at a different speed. The NFL is a lot faster, and a lot of guys need that year to adjust to the speed. To not only that, to adjust to their coaches, to adjust to their teammates. And I think take into account, we really didn't have a preseason. We didn't really have your traditional off-season, getting to gel, I think this season's kind of, it's really hard to tell. we have we have been relevant in every game. We have been in every game except for 2. We choked. We were choke artists against the Bears, and I'm like blanking on the other.
The Bucks was a big game.
The
Both
Bucks,
games,
yeah.
really, but the first one was a little bit closer. But the second one, yeah, they kind of got away.
The second one was just, yeah. So those were like the 2 games that I can honestly say, like, we shit the bed, you know, quite frankly. But we have, I mean, look at it. Okay, so when you look at the schedule and you see that we're playing a team like the Chiefs, did you really expect to lose by only 2 points to the Chiefs?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I mean, that was one of the better games.
I mean, that's what I'm talking about. We lost some heartbreakers.
I didn't think they were going to shut out Detroit. I mean, shoot, where'd that defense come from?
Yeah, I mean, and they're young. So what you see around the league, you see it with the Saints, you see it with the Bucks. They got a lot of aging players. You know, they only got a couple, 2, 3. They got like a maybe 3, and that's generous window to kind of get stuff done before they need to completely.
Right.
You know, rebuild. Whereas our team is young. Okay. So I think what you're going to see in the next few years, how the NFC South is going to trend, you're going to see the Bucks and the Saints kind of trend downward, and the Panthers and the Falcons kind of battling it out because they got a young team too. They added a lot of, you know, dynamic young players to their team. So I think that, you know, we're not going to be waiting that long, I think, before we're back in it. I mean, Rule historically, his first year is never really great if you look at his track record. But he took Temple, okay, and he took Baylor. He took them all.
He rebuilt those programs completely.
Yeah. He rebuilt them from the ground up, and you can't argue with the results.
Mm-hmm.
And in Rule we trust. So I'm gonna put my trust in him. As I said earlier, I love his attitude. I love that he gets guys loving the game. And that, to me, there's a lot of bright spots. I mean, you know, the offense putting up points even without. Now with Christian McCaffrey being out, a lot of like the analysis had us dead in the water. Like they didn't even give us a shot. They're without Christian McCaffrey, so. But you know, you see guys putting up points, which is you know what you want to see. One thing that I'm kind of about, I'm not too hot with the time management. I feel like the time management could use some work. But you know,
that's Rule. He has to adjust to that because he's in the college game. It's a little faster, a little more up tempo. Right. So he needs to adjust that, and I think in the next year,
it'll happen. It's all fixable things, but I am optimistic about the future of this team.
Yeah, I mean it's a work in progress, and I think we understand that, but it's the same time when you watch the games, you're like, oh man, I want to win. Yeah. Why did you make that penalty on third down and extend the drive for the offense? You know, just all kinds of different things. But I mean, as Panthers fans, you know, we're that's kind of what we're looking at is next couple of years.
We're tired of the middle of the pack, and we're tired of not getting over that hump. Like, oh yeah, great. Like we've gone to the playoffs. We've even gone to 2 Super Bowls, and we've heartbreakingly lost. I mean, that was one thing with the Denver game. Like that was like, I felt like I was having PTSD the entire game because the way the refs were just calling such shit penalties on us. And I was like, oh, look, it's Super Bowl 50 all over again. They're like trying to keep them in it. But I also feel like we did a lot to hurt ourselves. You know, there were, you know, we gave up too many big plays, okay? Like long plays that resulted in them scoring. You know, you have that delay a game that Teddy took, you know, like just like yeah. You don't do stuff like that when a game is on the line, especially a game that I feel like we could have easily, you know, stepped up. But I think the biggest thing that I can take away that this team needs to really work on, at least for the next coming weeks, is like you've seen it with the Saints, right? You see, like when Drew Brees is out, their defense steps up. Okay, we need, when one side of the ball, when offense isn't quite getting it done, we need defense to step it up a notch. You know, they need to kind of balance each other out, so that way you can kind of have imperfections. But when both sides of the ball aren't playing up to par, that's when you run into problems. That's when mistakes happen. That's when you get sloppy.
So, Brittany, if I could ask you a question, if you could talk to David Tepper, what would you ask him?
Oh, goodness. So, I mean, obviously.
I hate to put you on the spot, but you seem like you're pretty good with on-the-spot stuff.
Well, I mean, obviously, I would first ask him, you know, where he thinks the best pizza joint in New Jersey is, because he's also a Jersey boy. You know, he has. But I would probably ask him, you know, where does he hope to see us in 10 years? I would love to hear his you know,
vision, his plan.
Vision, like where does he see? What is he gonna do? What it takes? Because I know there's a lot of dissidents. You know, I don't know if that's the right word, on Twitter. A lot of people, you know, wondering about Tepper's vision, keeping someone like Marty Hurney around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so, like, I really kind of, and I'm not doubting that Marty Hurney can't eye talent, because he can. He's, you know, he's very good at scouting talent. Do I think he's a great GM? Not really. No, I think his numbers speak for themselves. And, you know, when we had gotten rid of Dave Gettleman and we interim put him back in, I didn't expect interim to turn into, okay, now he has his job back. Yeah. Because I can't think of a single, I don't know about you guys, but I can't think of a single person where they get fired from their job and then
they get rehired
for their job. So that kind of made me scratch my head a little bit. So I would kind of love to pick Dave Tepper's brain about, like, okay, what's with the Marty shiz? But I would warm him up with the pizza, you know, like, because pizza's a good, happy, you know, conversation, and then be like, dude.
Inquiring minds want to know, what is it with Hurney that you like so much? What's the plan?
It's so funny. Yeah. I joke with Tom. I say, I guarantee Marty Hurney like has incriminating pictures of like Jerry Richardson and Dave Tepper like somewhere, and he's like gonna threaten to release them if he.
So I'm tenured for the rest of this life.
Yes.
All right, so hey, we don't really have a whole lot of time to talk about the game, and that's fine. That's cool. I'm completely fine with that. But I do want to ask you something about the offseason coming up and the draft.
Sure.
And you can get into free agency if you want to. It seems like you're pretty smart with that. Is there any one particular position, or maybe even two positions, that you think Carolina really needs to focus on? Like, in my opinion, the machine was running really well with a guy like Josh Norman, right? Having a corner that can remove a certain part of the field, who can be a difference maker on defense, and someone who like just literally mentors others and others follow by example. That Josh Norman, you know, I don't think that Josh Norman exists anymore, but we need to find the next type of Josh Norman in the cornerback position, in my opinion. Some people will say offensive line, yeah, you know, win in the trenches. I get it, right? But cornerback, I don't think that the last –
actually, I can tell you one.
The last first round defensive back, I think, was Chris Gamble.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
that was drafted by the Panthers. So I mean, they've long put this kind of in the back burner, and I think it's really important to find someone who. And Bradbury was a great pick.
Oh, and Bradbury is
right? They let him go, and they have to find that corner who can be a difference maker and remove nearly half the side of the field, because that's really going to help your defense play better. It's going to get them. It's going to get the offense off the field. It's going to lower your third down conversion percentage for the offense against you. So, in my opinion, it's cornerback. But I'd love to hear what you think.
Well, I mean, I do agree. Like on the defensive side, so here's how I feel about free agency. Okay, I believe that I have to be really excited about a person to want to go after them in free agency. I'm very big on the whole idea of drafting and then having them for those sport, like grooming them the way you want them to be, because then you're not having a guy with an ego coming in or a guy that has to, you get to groom them to your system, how you want them, and then you can decide after, their rookie, do you want to pay them? Are they worth the money? Whereas, sometimes you get guys that, will come in or as a free agent and they'll be a total bust or they won't fit with the scheme. It's all about the scheme. So that's why I'm a little weary about free agency, but I do believe as far as the draft goes, we need a pass rusher, okay? There's a guy named Rosu. He's with Miami. He's got 15 and a half sacks and 2 forced fumbles, okay? We need a mean, nasty son of a bitch like
Julius
that.
Peppers back. Someone that can dominate a lineman like Julius.
Yes. I also believe, kind of going how I loved how you mentioned the whole Norman thing. I'm going to bring someone back up from the past too. I believe we should draft someone too, a linebacker like Parsons with Penn State. Okay, why do I think that? Talent-wise, he's great. And now linebackers are usually taken top 10. Okay, so but we know from having someone like Luke Kuechly what having someone like that on defense can do to disrupt the opponent's offense. This is the year. I feel like this year is going to be the year of the offensive linemen and the receivers in the draft. So, I mean, I think that you're going to have a lot of guys, and I think if Carolina really wanted to, they could even go for a tight end. Now, here's a tight end I really like. I like Pitts. And talent-wise, he's top 10 as well. Is
he can block.
justifiable?
He can block too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Is he justifiable? But you know what? With a top pick, with it being a very lineman and receiver heavy, we could trade. We could trade back to get him. Like knowing that could be a good bargaining tip. But as far as the draft, like that's what I see so far. Like as the season goes on, like next week I might, watch the game, against Green Bay and be like, oh, we need this. You know what I mean? But every week I kind of see what we need and kind of, think of how I would do it. But that's what stands out for me as far as the draft goes.
Yeah, and you mentioned some good key plays there, some key players in college. Sure. You missed one though, and I think this one is built like Josh Norman, and also has a father that's played in the NFL that has guided him.
I know who you're talking about.
Patrick Surtain.
Yep.
That kid could be that next Josh Norman.
Oh yeah, no, without a doubt.
Are very much looking at him right now. We need something like that too. Oh
yeah, for sure. Yeah, you can't go wrong because, like you said, it's having that element, taking out that field, like you said, it's just.
If you could just block off one-on-one, man-on-man, and leave him on an island by himself, I'm pretty sure he'll handle it, and then gives the defense a little bit more shift to the other side.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So, Brittany, and you mentioned you're a Hornets fan, which is how did that happen?
Well, it's actually, I can't even say, I just gravitated toward Carolina. Like from the time I was a kid, we would always drive to Florida, and I just loved stopping I just loved being in the Carolinas. There was just something about it. I always felt like a Carolina girl, and it's something like I don't even really I couldn't even tell you, like I said, basketball's not really but I do like the Hornets. I like them, so it's pretty much, I'm like, I like the Hornets because they're Charlotte.
Sounds like we need to get you to Charlotte.
Yeah,
we definitely do.
No, for sure. I have family in Waxhaw, and
Okay.
it's always a good time. Going down, visiting, just seeing things. Of course, with everything going on, it's kind of tough to get down there, but nothing beats it. It's just a whole I just glow talking about it. I love it.
Well, cool. Well, I mean, it's been great having you on. Our time is kind of pretty much up, but I think we covered a lot, and it's great to meet you. We look forward to meeting other people just like you. And
I'd love to come back.
You're always welcome.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah.
You can come back and talk football with us anytime. You've proven yourself that, and we appreciate your knowledge and just your friendliness on coming on and sharing with us your story, your background, how you became a fan, why you're a fan, and your heart's in it, what you're looking for as far as the future is concerned, and once we get over this pandemic, once we have vaccinations that we're able to take and get back to normal, my goodness, it'd be great to watch a game with a crowd again.
Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness, yeah, I can only imagine. I've heard that being tailgating there is a whole nother monster.
That's what I miss, tailgating.
Yeah, I
had gone to the stadium, one time. It was probably about 2.5 years ago, and I walked around at night, and of course, I took my pictures with Sam Mill's statue and everything because that's my guy. That's what brought me in. So, it was just such a next level. That was my Graceland. I was so happy, and I would love to be able to have that experience with my fellow fan friends.
And when you're down here, let us know. We'll definitely be doing some tailgate parties. So.
Okay, hit me up. I'll give you my number.
I'm sure the fans will be happy to see you and to meet you. So hopefully they enjoyed this and you as well. Any parting thoughts from you about the rest of the season? Anything you want to share? Where can we find you on Twitter? People can see it right on the screen, but
I'll call it before she does anything. I'm going to call it an upset special. Packers lose to the Panthers.
Oh, every now and then you do see
any given Sunday.
Some of them come true, though. Some of them do come true.
Look at Seattle. They lost to the Giants, right?
With the matchup against Washington. So, that front four is scary. So they better be on their A game protecting Teddy because.
Yeah, Chase Young is not going to be stopped.
That guy is an animal. I can't. I'm amazed watching him. But yeah, we definitely, hey, like I said, if they can get to that point where if one side isn't, the other side needs to elevate, and that's probably their best bet. You can't have. You can't have 4 o'clock management. You can't have Teddy hanging onto the ball too long. You can't have him taking those sacks or those delay games.
And Carolina's not very
every time.
Carolina's not very good at revenge games, right? The Steve Smith game, the Kelvin Benjamin game. Heck, he even had a career game.
Here, take the win. We don't want it.
Yeah, right.
Fine.
Gotta wonder what Rivera's gonna.
But I think for Rivera, it's a little bittersweet for Rivera to get some point of revenge.
Yeah, it's possible.
I also feel if the Panthers were in a division, such as that one, I feel we might be a little. I don't know. We wouldn't be.
You'll be in the playoff hunt if you're in our division.
More competitive.
Yeah. I don't want to hurt your feelings, Joe, but that's kind of where I was going. I've learned to be cautious, I have I care, because my husband's a Cowboys fan, so I have to kind of sometimes
I learned to take the pain and laugh about it.
Yeah. Well, it was funny because, as soon as we started, just letting them, just have those long drives and those penalties that were killing us that extended their drives this week, I was like, hello, darkness, my old friend.
That's a good one. I like that one.
Yeah. But anyway, it was great talking to you guys.
Definitely. You definitely come back on.
And anytime you need a person to come on, I am down. I'm always down for a good time.
We'll hold you to that.
That's right.
Seriously, if you're like, do you want to come on? I'll be like, does a bear shit in the woods? Sure.
Hey, we tried to retweet your tweet, but we're not able to do it. You got like security block on there.
I have my Twitter on private, so people have to request to follow me. So
awesome.
I don't give out my awesomeness for free. So
there
they
you go.
Be like, hey, I think we want to follow her.
Right. All right. Well, good. Well, no, it was a pleasure listening to you talk about our sport, our fans, and guys, you can find Brittany on Twitter at Britt M. Schmidt.
Go request
it right there on the screen. So thanks again for joining us. And guys, if you like this, if you want to be on the show, let us know. We'd love to have fans on and talk more about your experience as a fan, and we'll go from there.
Thank you,
have a great night.
All right.
Thank you.